Wow. Wow. I can't keep up with this one. Wait till you see today's Isopod setup review. See if you can keep up.
The Isopod vlog.
Thanks for joining me, Isopod fans. And don't forget, we have a 15% off coupon going on right now for Josh's Frogs. Get all your substrates, any needs on supplies that you need for your isopods. Make sure you check out Josh's Frogs. And I'm still getting a lot of comments from people watching these Isopod setup reviews. The people submitting them are really appreciating the information that I'm providing. The people that are watching these really get a lot of information, a lot of helpful hints from these setup reviews. So if you want to send me one of your Isopod setups for me to review, leave a comment in the comments below and we'll make sure that we can get you in this Isopod setup review. Some of the key pieces of information that I'll ask of you is keep it around 1 minute. Tell me how long the setup has been set up. Tell me what kind of isopod you have going. Let me know if you have any issues, if you're not getting babies, if you have isopods dying. Tell me the foods that you're feeding, the ventilation, the substrate that you're using, how many times you missed or how you wet your enclosure, how you keep it moist. Tell me any information that you can get and try to keep it around 1 minute. So let's go ahead and get into the review today. This one is sent in by Melon Popal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sure that I'm not. And he's a longtime supporter of the channel. And I wanted to really do a review of this Isopod setup because it's very, very different. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I want to mention that this Isopod setup was put on this person's channel, this person's YouTube channel, and I'm going to leave a link below in the description. I like how he's done this. This is a really unique review video. I guess I just don't like seeing my face on this video 4 times, but let's get into it.
Setup history and isopod type. It was put together in late April this year. The inhabitants are local isopods of the genus Armadillidium, most likely Armadillidium vulgare.
Wait a minute. I think I've seen this video before. Where have I seen this video before? Where have I seen this video before? I know where I've seen this video before.
Okay, units, travel plans. I need to be in New York on Monday, LA on Tuesday, New York on Wednesday, LA on Thursday, New York on Friday. Got it?
Got it.
Got it. So you want to work here. What really makes you think you deserve a job here?
Well, sir, I think on my feet I'm good at figures and have a sharp mind.
Excellent. Can you start on Monday?
Let's go ahead and keep going.
Substrate. Old cocoa fiber mixed with half-rotten compost, crushed leaf litter, wood chips, and a bit of white rotten wood. Springtails were also added.
Okay, let's talk about this substrate. This is a wonderful, wonderful substrate. So he's pulled some cocoa fiber, he's pulled some compost together, some white rotten wood, mixed it all together. He has springtails. Wonderful, wonderful setup. So far, so good. Correct depth. Looks absolutely perfect. Everything looks good with this. Let's keep going.
Ventilation. Formerly only a few small holes in the not very tight lid. Now I increased it just to be safe.
Okay, great. Lots of ventilation, and it appears that he's also redone some of the ventilation. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm assuming that it's pretty nice. The enclosure, wonderful height, sealable lid, great. The only issue that I see is that these holes, and I'm sure he's redone this or screened them off, but there are open holes, and because of that, you could have some things getting in here, like fungus gnats or fruit flies or something like that, or even... Yes, I've found small spiders in my isopod enclosures. But also, with these holes, these open holes, you possibly could have your isopods, your mankai, coming out of those holes and leaving the enclosure. So you might want to consider closing those off with some type of a screening. Let's go ahead and go on.
Staple food and water. Apart from what's in the substrate, they receive dropped leaves and flowers from my chili plants and dirty old sponge cloths from my global enclosures. They consist of cellulose and a cotton web and are consumed. They hold a lot of water, so they also double as locality of heightened.
Very interesting. I like the leaf litter. You've got plenty of that in there. These sponge cloths, I guess if they're organic, this should be just fine. If they're made of cellulose, if they're broken down by the isopods, I guess this would work. This is very interesting. This is kind of eye-opening. Perhaps by using these, and I think that you've gotten to this point, you don't need sphagnum moss. That's my thought. The only thing that I would worry about is, if those celluloid pads have been treated with anything, if they're safe for the isopods. And I'm sure you pick up all of the wiring or the monofilament that's left over after they've eaten all of those pads up. Looks great. Very interesting though. Let's keep going.
A nice concave piece of bark along the gradient. Additional food and treats consist mainly of algae and water plant clippings from my aquariums, fish flakes and shrimp pellets, rarely some veggie scraps, crushed chicken eggshells and cuttlefish bone for calcium. Besides garbage disposal, they also take care of the...
Okay, you're feeding a very wide variety of diets, which is just great. That algae is really interesting. I feed mine some spirulina, but in a dry form. That's in the Supreme Isopod chow. I also sprinkle in spirulina occasionally, but algae, that's kind of interesting. If anybody has an aquarium that has extra algae, I'm guessing they can pull that right out and put that in their isopod enclosure. Very interesting. You've got the calcium working in the enclosure. That's great. Everything looks good. Let's keep watching.
The deceased. Closing statement. This setup is basically an experimental recycling unit with an outsourced cleanup crew. There's not much conventional leaf litter, but I'd like to point out that I found little to no leaf litter at the places I collected my starter individuals. But I don't need a ton of babies. This is just a place to screen for interesting colors and patterns.
I absolutely love the editing in this video. You did such a great job. I really appreciate that. Again, everything looks good with this. I would give this setup a green. I mean, you're going to have your isopods doing very, very well in this enclosure. You're going to have babies in here for sure. Everything looks good. A couple of important points that he comments on here is that this is an experiment. He's not interested in getting lots and lots of babies. He's interested to see how this develops, what he can learn from this isopod setup. And I think that more of us need to be in that frame of mind. Great information. Another key point that I want to point out here is that he's following the lead of nature. He's looked at nature to determine how he should set up this isopod enclosure. Again, very, very important if we have issues with our animals, whether it's geckos or any other kind of reptile or isopods. We should take the key notes from nature and try to apply those as much as possible. Temperatures, moisture, anything like that. We should take the keys from nature. Wonderful video. I really, really appreciate the format and how you kept it under a minute or about a minute and kept so much information in this video. Well done. Again, I would give this video a green. I think this is ready to rock, and you're going to have babies very, very soon, and you can enjoy the little ones running around. Thank you for the submission. Thank you everyone for watching. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and hit the notification all. Thanks for watching.